I have been playing bass and making music for a very long time. And I have always considered myself kind of a organic musician. What I mean by that is that the music that I like listening to and the music I like making is the type of music that's made by, a group of musicians playing their instruments together. My style and taste has definitely changed and evolved throughout the years. When I first started playing, I was more into hard rock. But as time went by, I started to discover other styles of music that speak more to me. And I'm specifically talking about funk and disco. The thing is, I have been listening to music with funk and disco influences for a very long time, even without realizing it. When I was a teenager in 1997, Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai was the hottest song in the world. A few years later, this Venezuelan band called Los Amigos Invisibles had a few hits on the radio. But it wasn't until 2002 when I was rewatching Pulp Fiction that during the opening credits, I heard this. At this point in time, I had already been playing bass for a few years. And so when I heard that song, the first thing that went through my mind was, what is that? So I went to my mom's laptop and downloaded the song. This was the early years of music piracy. So discovering new music was suddenly so much easier than before. I started searching for similar songs, and that's when my love for funk began. A few years later, I made the decision to focus on making more danceable music. I wanted to make funky music. In order to do that, I really needed to figure out what makes a song funky, and specifically what makes a bass line funky. So I started searching for more music and started learning more songs, and the more I learned, the more I realized that a lot of these bands were not only making funk, but they were also making disco. And I also really love disco. For many years, I was just trying to listen to and absorb as much of these styles as I could. As I kept searching, it became more apparent to me that these styles had gone sort of under the radar. With the exception of a few bands and a few artists, for the most part, this music was a thing of the past. But then I discovered that funk and disco were very much alive in the realm of electronic dance music. I started to discover producers and DJs who had been remixing and remaking disco and funk inspired tracks, but it was still kind of an underground scene. That was of course until 2013 when this song came out. She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. And from that moment on, funk and disco had officially made a comeback. Jealous, but I'm too cool to admit it. When the fellas talk to my girls, what y'all trying to do? What you trying to do? If you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't show up, don't come out, Like I said, because I have always been kind of an organic musician, I've been so unfamiliar with electronic dance music. I really didn't know anything about it. But now, I really love it and have been wanting to make music like this for a while. So I want to give it a try. That is the goal. I need a starting point. Writing music, for me at least, is not something that I can just do. I need something to get me started. Sometimes that is a chord progression or a melody, but more often than not for me is a bass line that I improvise and then I kind of develop into a more fleshed out idea. About a year ago, I had this particular bass line, and in this video, you can hear me and my band jamming and improvising around it. I really like the ideas that we were coming up with, but after this day, nothing came out of it. So I'm gonna take this bass line and use it as my starting point. In that rehearsal, we were jamming to it with more of a old school funk vibe, but I want to bring the energy up a bit and make it more of a dance track, more disco. The first thing I always do is make a beat. In this case, I wanted to create a simple house beat with the kick playing a 4 on the floor. I added a snare on 2 and 4, and then I added a second snare to add a little bit of punch, each slightly bent on opposite sides. Then I added a hi-hat on the offbeats, and I basically had a house beat. Finally, a second hi-hat playing a 16-note pattern to make it more danceable. This hi-hat is swung in the style of samba music. What that means is that in every group of 4 16 notes, the second note is a little bit behind the beat, and the third and fourth notes are a little bit ahead. Then the time came to start recording the instruments. I started with the bass since the whole song was written around it. Then I recorded a rhythm guitar to make it super funky, a second guitar to add some melodic lines, and finally some nice chords on the piano to make the groove feel a bit more full. The main bass line had to change now that the beat was different, so I came up with a more disco style groove. This line worked really well with the funky guitar chords, which are kind of like a Nile Rodgers type of thing. For the second guitar, I came up with a melody that complemented the bass, and for the piano, I just played some chords with spread voicings to make them feel a little jazzy. While jamming, I came up with a couple of different licks that I thought I could use in the song. I wasn't sure where they would go, but recorded the line, harmonized it with the guitar, and added some color. I did the same thing for the second lick. The B section is a bit of a blues-inspired progression, with the same type of chords from a 12-bar blues, but with the order a bit scrambled. But basically, by going up to the 4th degree and the 5th degree of the scale, it makes this section feel like a brand new section. I wanted the middle to be the most upbeat part of the song, so I came up with a groove that was a bit more rhythmically intense and somewhat repetitive. Then I thought it would be fun to do it all over again, but a whole step above. And then one more time. Before I finished recording, I felt like I needed something a bit different to end the song, and I suddenly had this light bulb moment where I decided to take a chord progression I had for a completely different song and record it. This became probably my favorite part once I finished recording all the instruments. As I'm working on the arrangement for the song, I have this idea for something I want to do, which is very common in a lot of house music and a lot of electronic music, and that is to have a drop. I was inspired to do this during one of my attempts at trying to be a DJ. In a DJ controller, you have these buttons with numbers that if you push, it's gonna loop a section. So if you push 4, it's gonna loop 4 beats. So you can select 4 and then drop down to 2 and then half of that and so on and so on. So I wanna recreate that effect, but on my digital workstation. The way I'm gonna do it is by basically just doing a lot of copying and pasting. And now I'm just gonna select that small region. And basically, if you press Alt and drag, it copies that section to somewhere else in the timeline. So if now I select this and I press Apple D, it duplicates your selection. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna drag this one more time and I'm gonna make it half as long. And now duplicate that over and over. And I just keep repeating the same process. Boom! And I have a drop. And now I'm gonna do it for every key change. Okay, so I have this song in my phone and I just want to listen to it as I drive to work. It's 9 minutes and 53 seconds long, so I think it's definitely way too long. I'm gonna have to cut it down. But I just want to see if I like it. It's not mixed, that's okay. But yeah, let's just check it out. Yeah, it's a very long song. I don't need it to be this long, so I definitely think I can cut it down. And yeah, it sounds very rough. Hopefully the mix helps, but I've been doing some editing and I decided to cut some things out. So for example, this guitar part is now out. And then this other guitar part, that's out as well. The other thing I did is basically I had this really long section in the middle where I repeat something 3 times. Basically I got rid of almost all of it and I just kept one of those repetitions. I also started adding the sound of a reverse cymbal sound effect followed by a crash cymbal, and I put them before the transitions between the sections, and I think that works really well. Check it out. The song is still a bit long, but honestly the meat of the music happens really quickly and it moves. And you know, I have this really long ending over here, so you know, it's fine that it's a bit long. But there's still some more stuff I want to add. So one of my favorite things about disco music is the use of strings. I really love that sound. I think it adds so much to the music, and I've always wanted to use it for my music, but obviously it's very difficult to do when you don't have access to like an orchestra or something. But I downloaded some sounds that I think can really work. And I've been playing around and I've come up with some lines, so I'm gonna record that and I think it's really gonna help. that sounded great. There's just one last thing I want to add, and that is this sound here, the pizzicato. I'm actually not going to record anything. All I'm going to do is copy this part here into the pizzicato section. And maybe I think I'm going to move it one octave up. Awesome. I think we have strength. So I'm getting ready to record vocals, and I'm not home right now, as you can see. I'm actually at my workplace, and it just so happens that I work in the fantastic world of television. So my workplace has this really handy blankets that I've used to build a bit of a vocal booth. But yeah, I don't really love the look of this place. So I'm going to record the vocals, and then I am going to do a little lip syncing in my bedroom so that when I finally edit the video together, it'll look like I actually recorded at home, but I didn't. If you're watching this, it'll be our secret. All right, let's record. When I'm all alone, I need to let go of all those behaviors that are not my own. I need to be myself before I lose control. That's why I decided that from now on, I'm gonna relax with no pants. No pants, no pants, no pants. I'm gonna relax with no pants. No pants, no pants, no pants. I'm gonna relax with no pants. No pants, no pants, no pants. I'm gonna relax with no pants. No pants. Can't slow down cause the world don't stop and you'll get left behind. If you wanna get ahead, then you gotta give it all you got. But if you're trying to push too hard, there's a chance that you'll burn out. Don't put it to the test, give yourself a rest and just learn to relax. Dance. Then all you have to do is not wear pants. If you wanna live your life to the max, then all you have to do is take a chance. 5 o'clock and the day's done. Gotta get home, I begin to run. Can't slow down, the world don't stop and you'll get left behind. If you wanna get ahead, then you gotta give it all you got. But dance, 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 and let your body be free so you can dance. Come on and dance, 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 and let your body be free so you can dance. Yeah, the song is good, but can you dance to it? Do what makes me feel right. Dance, 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 and let your body be free so you can dance. Get up and dance, 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 and let your body be free so you can dance. Let's go. So I think the song turned out really well. I think I was able to pull off the disco sound, so that's a success. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this song was originally supposed to be a song for my band, but we're living in the middle of a pandemic and I haven't been able to get together with them and rehearse or play. So I just ended up recording the whole thing by myself, which was interesting, but you know, in times like these, sometimes you just have to stay creative. Anyways, I hope you check out the song, and if you like it, you can download the song for free on the links below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how we do it.